here with Inspired by Purpose, and today I would love to talk with all of you about the process of transformation or just progress in general, because there are a lot of nuanced thoughts that happen during those times of progression and transformation, and there's a lot that goes into it that you may not be thinking about, and you might be putting a lot of pressure on yourself while things are actually going really well. So I do want to talk with you all a little bit about what goes into that process, what happens, what can kind of be variables that can skew your mindset a little bit with how things can fluctuate. And so one thing that's really important, especially when you are beginning or perhaps restarting a fitness journey or a transformation process or anything like that, is that, I would encourage you to ask yourself why you are starting whatever journey that may be for you. What is your reason behind it? What is your goal? And really reflect on that, because that's going to be really important. Because a lot of times we jump into something, and in today's world especially, we expect and want instant gratification. We want that instantaneous result as quickly as possible, and preferably with as little struggle as possible. And unfortunately, that's not how life really works for the most part, and I think we've learned that over and over again with many things in life. But so when it comes to fitness and health and nutrition and all of that, I encourage you to really think long term, not just maybe a shorter term goal that might be a little bit more extreme, maybe not, but I encourage you to really think about the long term and how are you going to build habits that are going to keep you where you want to be, right? Because we don't want to do that whole yo-yo cycle of going really hard, getting burnt out, giving up, and then going back to where we started, or maybe even a little bit farther back from where we started, right? We want to keep all that hard work that you're doing. We want to build habits so that it can be sustainable for you, so that it can be a lifestyle that doesn't feel exhausting or overwhelming or anything like that. And so when you start a fitness journey, obviously that's going to be a lot more difficult, because you're going to have to actively think about the changes you have to make. You're going to have to plan for that. And then over time, it is going to get easier. It's going to be more of a reflex per se, and you won't have to think about it. You'll know more of what to do intuitively, and you'll be able to handle harder situations easier because you have the tools to succeed there, right? So when you're starting something new especially, there are going to be hiccups. There's going to be ups and downs, and learning from those experiences is what's going to help you progress and help you stay progressed throughout your journey, so that it's not a, progress, fall back. We don't want that to happen. If there's a bump in the road, we would rather it be a pause rather than having to jump back. And so teaching yourself those tools is what's going to be really important there. And so when you're not seeing instantaneous progress, I do encourage you to think, what can I learn? What can I build upon right now that's going to set me up for success, not just for the short-term future, but long-term as well. And then as far as measurable variables that can be a little bit discouraging sometimes when you don't see them move, or perhaps you see them move in a way that you aren't expecting. For example, weight. When we're in a fat loss phase, we tend to focus a lot on our weight and our fluctuations, right? But oftentimes we're not looking at the data in a, backed up big picture type of way. We're looking at it data point to data point. We're looking at ourselves in the mirror, looking at the number, and then picking ourselves apart, which is why some people will wake up feeling really good about their bodies, step on the scale, and then their day is disastrous because of that number, right? And there are so many reasons why that number can change, whether that's maybe you had more fiber than normal, maybe your digestion is a little bit wonky and you haven't been as regular as normal, maybe you had too much sodium or not enough sodium, maybe you had more water than normal. Sleep plays a huge impact on your weight, as well as stress. If you're super stressed, you tend to be a little bit more puffy, a little bit more inflamed, and that's going to show up on the scale as well. And there are also little phenomenons where actually your weight can jump up just a little bit before it drops, called the whoosh effect, which I can't go into today. But there are so many reasons why weight itself is not the determining factor of your progress. And you want to look at it from a big picture standpoint and go, okay, this variable seems weird because I feel really good about myself. My clothes are fitting differently. I feel more energized, I feel stronger, and this one variable doesn't match that, so I'm not gonna let that determine what I've done, what my progress has been. And so not relying on one single data point can be really hard because that's one of the easiest data points to get a hold of, but really thinking about it objectively is what's gonna help you continue to work towards those goals and not have that mindset of I'm doing nothing, all this is for nothing, because I promise you, if you're putting in the work to build those healthy habits and make this into a sustainable lifestyle, it's going to happen, you're going to get there. It might not be instantaneous, but the benefit of that is that it will be long-term, right? Because sometimes instantaneous results don't last, and we want this to be something that you work for and you're able to maintain and keep in a sustainable, healthy and happy way. So I encourage you all to be a little bit more objective, be a little bit kinder to yourselves, and instead of thinking about what's not going the way that you want, think about what you can do to help build sustainable, healthy habits that are going to help improve your life and help make things easier for you as you go along in your journey. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us at IBP. We'd be happy to help, happy to give you some tips and point you in the right direction. And stay tuned for more on demands, and we will see you later.